Hi guys, Tiffany 5. In tonight's video, I'm going to say everything I just said 5 seconds ago because I had some internet issues, which it doesn't look like I'm having, but for some strange reason, this just does not want to work. Oh, and there it is, finally. Okay, so we're just going to start all over from the beginning, where I started 2 seconds ago. Hopefully the volume is off, and it is, so that way I can keep track. It's always best as a YouTuber to have some other screen going to make sure that you're live. Why? Because I have internet problems and the camera faces a different way than me, so I can't even see the screen. Anyways, in tonight's video, we're going to pretend I never did this. You need a charm square pack, 42-inch squares. I'm using Moda Mama's Cottage by April Rosenthal of Prairie Grass Patterns for Moda. It is a 5-inch charm pack. I already took it apart in my last while I was talking to nothing. And you need one of those, 42 pieces charm pack, and they're 5-inch squares. And then you need 42 charm squares, 5-inch charm squares of a background color or a color that goes with it. I pre-cut all of mine, like I said 10 minutes ago. I pre-cut all of mine and I wrap them up like this. And this was like, I got 2 charm packs from like a little over a yard or maybe a little under a yard. I don't even remember. Either way, 5-inch squares, you need 42. So you need a matchy-matchy. You need the same amount in both so that we can make what we're making. So tonight we are going to make a disappearing pinwheel and or pin dash and or churn dash pinwheel or pin churn, or there's a bazillion different names for the disappearing pinwheel. So tonight I'm going to make a baby quilt of the disappearing pinwheel. We're going to see how fast I can do it now that I'm on my second try. I'm glad I didn't start sewing, right? And I'm going to go ahead and see who's here. We got Sarah and Linda. Hi, guys. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with the directions. Close this stupid thing. I knew that something was up if this wasn't going to work. This is my little RCA tablet, and it only works when it wants to. That's the weirdest thing ever. Anyways, I'm going to move my main color out of the way, which are my print squares, and hopefully I'm not going too fast. I gotta hiccup for a second. I will give the directions and I will do my best to draw on my little whiteboard how the layout's going to be, since you guys kind of can't, oops, don't fall too far. Since you guys can't see, like, I mean, you can see this whole area now. Now you guys got like this awesome view in my room, but I'm going to do my 100% best to make sure that I tell you the directions, describe what I'm doing, and do it. 90% of you know how to make half square triangles, and that's pretty much how we're starting. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to tell you what to do, but normally I wouldn't do this, but I took my tape off my machine. Actually, we're just going to go ahead and use the pin. I'm going to roll around instead of standing up because I'm in my pajamas, and my pajamas just so happen to be a nightgown with my shirt on top, just so that I could be on video with you guys. So I'm going to grab my Missouri Star ruler, the little 7, I think this is 8 inches. Is it 8 inches? Yes. 1 inch, 2 inch, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8-inch ruler by 2.5-inch ruler. I'm going to use this because it is perfect for charm squares. And I'm going to go ahead and let's see how fast I can draw a line from corner to corner diagonally on 42 squares. Let's see how fast I can do this. Whew, this is going to take me forever. Hi, Kim. So I'll just read comments while I sit and draw a line from corner to corner. And it's probably not the perfectest, is that even a word? It's not the best line ever, but I'm going to go ahead and just draw it anyway. Again, we are using a charm pack of a print, and I always use solids when I make things. I'm a solid girl. I don't know why. I think it's more modern to me, and I am definitely a modern quilter. I know a lot of people are old-fashioned quilters, and then there's some that are art quilters, and then some that are this and some that are that, but I just so happen to be modern, so I like solids mixed with things. I don't know why. It just, to me, screams happy. and comfort and joy. And some of these lines aren't even showing up, but I'm drawing them anyway. You know, this is the part of everything that we do that takes the longest, when you really have to prep everything. And if you don't want to draw the line, you could actually press the line, all 42 squares if you want to. I'm pretty sure we're going to have squares left over, actually, by the time we get to the end of this, because we're getting 2 half square triangles per square, and I don't think it comes out to 42. I haven't done the full math because I know what I'm doing, and I've done this several times before, but I'm making a baby quilt. This was a suggestion, and you guys could always leave me suggestions on making things. If I have a pattern for it, then I will do it. If you send me the pattern, I will make a video, but just know, anytime anyone sends me a pattern to make a video, when it's someone else's pattern, I cannot give out measurements for anything unless I'm changing things. That's the only thing I can give out for. So the only thing I can do is direct you on how to put things together. So just so you know, if you guys ever want a video of something specific, just ask. I will try to work it into my randomness. In the next, like you guys know, medically wise, things are coming up. So unfortunately, in the next couple weeks, I can only do some small projects and teach small things, as long as it doesn't take up too much of my energy, because I am seriously migrained out. I am so tired of having this over 3 weeks now of a migraine. It's absolutely 100% the most annoyingest thing in the whole wide world. And I'm all day today, I'm just working through it. I have been working on a project. You guys can't see in front, on the front part of the desk, because I set the camera up, but you could probably see a little bit right here. There's a leftovers from a project I started, and now I'm at the part where I actually have to do really amazing math, because I do not want to waste fabric. I'm definitely not a waster. I do as much as I can with what I have, you know, so all the way down to the last inch. So yeah, I started working on a project that I was making, and now I'm at the part where I really have to do the math, and I'm like, ugh, I don't like math. That was not a good subject for me in school. And you know, it's been over 20 years since I've been to school, so I can only imagine for all of you that are older than me, it's been a long time since we've been to school, and fractions without a computer program to enter things into, fractions are really hard. Really hard. And my son is in high school, so he's kind of, obviously he's not in high school right now because of, you know, all this junk going on, but yeah, he knows some things, but since it's not fresh in his brain because he's not in class with a teacher teaching him, it makes it hard for him to show me how to do the math to make sure I'm doing it right, because I could barely remember anything I learned in high school. So, I know 1 + 1 is 10. 2 × 2 is 16. Yeah, see, that's how horrible it is. No, I'm just kidding. I actually know what those are, but I don't know fractions. Fractions are just not my thing. Look at this. I'm almost done. This doesn't actually take as long as you think if you stay consistent with it and just keep going and going and going. And you get yourself a little system going. Again, for those that are just joining, we are making the disappearing pinwheel, or pin dash, churn pin, churn, pinwheel with a pinwheel with churn inside of a churn dash. There are a bazillion names for it. I'm making a baby quilt. This was a suggestion. So to make this, you need 2 charm packs, one of your main backgroundy color, and another one of your prints, and or your prints with a printed backgroundy color, or some grunge maybe, or some stars or polka dots, or whatever you want to use as your background color. All right, so I have drawn my line. I don't need this pin anymore. Why? Because I don't need it anymore. Did you guys see that? This thing is kind of cool. This little stash and share thing. They all stayed in here. It fell. It's a good thing it has their sheaths on every single one of these wonderful scissors, because those probably would have stabbed me and you guys wouldn't have been happy to see anything like that. I'm going to take a second before I start sewing to see who all is here. All right, so I saw all the way till Kim. I like solids mixed with prints. It makes the colors pop. Definitely. And I usually, if you guys haven't noticed, I use black a lot. Black with batiks is my favorite to use. That's my always go-to. I don't ever use white with batiks, ever. Sometimes I'll use dark gray, but 90% of the time I use black. That's my go-to. I love it. It looks amazing. It makes the colors just shoot out into your face and be like, hey, look at me, you know, and you know. So, let's see. Hi, Jill. Let's see. I already said what I'm working on. Hi, Jim. Everyone's saying hi. Hi, Sarah. Just watch your window video. Sarah, beautiful. Oh, Sarah posted another video. I'll have to go look. You know how hard it is for me to keep up with everybody else's videos on everybody else's channels? I'm finding myself missing so many of them. All right. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to keep this pile next to me. Actually, I'll put this pile right here, my prints, and this pile right here. And it doesn't matter because this is solid, so there is no right or wrong. I'm going to lay my 5-inch charm square that I did on top of the 5-inch charm square, and my line is facing up towards me, so technically they are right sides together, wrong sides out, and I am actually going to go ahead and sew a line on either side of this, except I'm going to literally chain sew all the one side and then turn the whole thing around and chain sew all the other side. This is how I make things go so much faster in my room by doing this. So, and sometimes I'll even take the time to like pre-lay a bunch of these like this. I'll just go ahead and like lay all these like this and, you know, whatever. And it's actually, I don't know, it gives me something to do, but obviously I'm going to try to make this quick. So we're going to put this down. And again, I'm just going to sew on one side of my drawn line, and then I'm going to come back when I get a ton, all the whole entire package done. Then I'll come back with the bottom side and sew the other ones. So while I'm doing this, I am using white thread, and I'm using a 2.2-ish stitch length. So I'm going to go ahead and run these through as best as possible. And I'm going to grab my holder so that I can have the comments facing up towards me, because I'm going to be doing this for a few minutes, probably just as long as it took me to draw the line is what's going to take me to sew all these together twice, because I have to do one side and then the other. Hi, Colleen. Welcome. Welcome, welcome to all of you joining. All right, where was I? I'm on this side. So I'm actually sewing to the left side right now. My foot is a 1/4 inch either way I sew on it, so it doesn't really matter. I am not using my 1/4 inch foot with the guide, because then you won't be able to go over the fabric. My guide on this Juki actually kind of crushes up and crumples the fabric, so not a good idea. And let me know if the sound is good or too high, because I do have the microphone on the desk, like literally right behind the machine. So I don't want it to be like super loud and blary in your ears, and I do want you to hear me nice and clear. So I'm just putting it with my line facing up, and I'm just sewing them all through, one right after the other, and I'm not going to turn around until I get to the end, and then I'll sew the other side of everything. This whole chain piecing makes life so much easier. Things go so much faster, and I'm really starting to like this line because there's lots of different prints in here. It's not the same repeat over and over and over again. For those that are curious, again, from my first that got messed up, my first video, I explained everything nice. Start. I'm using Moda's Mama Cottage by April Rosenthal of Prairie grass patterns. That's what I'm using. So, and it has numbers on the back that came on the back sheet that tell you what number the fabrics are. So I'm not going to enter those in, but you guys could just look up this if you guys want to see it when I'm done making it. You can see all the fabrics that are in it. They're super adorable. This is mostly going to be a girl's quilt because these are girly colors. Very girly colors. Where are we? Okay, I saw Colleen. Hi, Pamela. Hi, Delilah. Finally caught alive. I always miss it lately. It's okay. It's fine if you miss them. It's cool if you're here. I like when everyone's here because it gives me plenty of people to talk to. Hi, Tony from Florida. How's the weather? Probably nice and humid, right? Everyone's saying hi. Everyone's saying hi to Tony. Thank you, Kim, for the thumbs up reminder. Delilah gave her thumbs up before entering the chat. I usually do that on every live stream I go in. I just do my thumbs up on the way in. The people that put the thumbs down, I don't understand. Why would you thumbs down a video when you first start watching it? Because I've exited my chat before and looked and I've already had a thumbs down. I'm like, but I just got started. Is it an accident or do you really hate me that much? I don't know, because I'm silly. I'm a silly, silly person. These are the best videos. My Insomniac videos are the best because the real true crazy me comes out, and I know you guys love the real true crazy me. I am very hyper, and I'm just hyper. Oh, and if you're curious about this yellow color, it's actually called Lemon, and it's from Walmart. It's a Waverly print. I used to be able to buy this stuff by the bolt, but no, not anymore. Now I'm stuck buying in 3-yard increments. I really don't like that, especially for quilt backing. It really sucks. It's a good thing I'm thrifty, and I use sheets for quilt backing a lot of times.
Love you.
I love you too. I'm on. If you come any closer than that bed, then you're going to be on camera.
Okay. I'm going to lay down.
Huh?
I'm going to lay down.
Okay. I'll put the things in front of the door. Scott is telling me he is laying down, so I got to put my little thingies in front of the door so that the machine is a little bit more dull sounding outside this room. Give me 2 seconds to lay the things in front of the door. I literally just take, because you know all doors have a gap underneath them. I literally just take 2 towels and they're rolled up and then I shove them sort of in the crack of the door. It's a hassle if I have to leave in a hurry to go potty because I have to pick those up. It's hard to just kick them out of the way. Oh man, am I seriously buffering again? Hi. It better not be. It might better just be the tablet. Okay, good. It's just the tablet. The green light is on my internet over there, and it has been this whole entire time. Okay, everyone said hi to Tony. Thumbs up. I saw that, saw that, saw that. When it starts buffering, the chat goes crazy on this. Mean people give thumbs down. Yeah, pretty much. Delilah was on, so yeah. Fabric purchases are yeah, yeah, I was on there. I can only go on there. I was telling Skankum and Zach tonight that I've never been able to go on So Yeah's website ever since I learned about them, because not on my phone, not when my phone is on Wi-Fi, not when my phone is on 3G, away from the home, not on my iPad, totally different server on iPads. I can't go on their website from an iPad. I can't go from my tablet. I can't go from my computer. I can't even go on from Scott's computer. It just gives us an error. So it's not that it's our computers, it's their website for my thing. But I can go on other websites. Lots of them. I've never been able to use So Yeah's website. So I like shopping on the D Stash and the New Stash. I don't really buy much on New Stash. I mainly only purchase from D Stash, and that's when I can. But that's how I shop through them, unless I take the drive to Vegas, which I can do anytime because it's not really that far. 2 hours at the most if I drive speed limit. And do I drive speed limit? Yeah. Sometimes. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I put the pedal to the metal. This is the place right here where I can speed. There is no speed limit in this room. Nope, not ever. No speed limit for me. And I now can have my machine on high. It used to be on my old desk, I couldn't have it on high. Now I can have it on high. So going this way first always takes the longest. For those that are just joining, I am making a baby disappearing pinwheel because I don't feel like adding more, and I don't feel like making more and more and more and more big huge quilts. So I'm making a disappearing pinwheel, or pin dash, or pin churn, or churn pinwheel, or churn dash pinwheel, so on and so forth. Or there's, like I said in the beginning of this video, there's so many names for it. So all you need is 42 charm pack, 42 piece charm pack of a print, and 42 piece charm pack of your secondary color. Or you can use all the same, but you would have to opposite the colors and use 2 of the same colors in each, if that makes any sense. You'd have to have repeats, lots of them. It looks cool that way though, if you do it with repeats and you use, say, just as an example, say I had these 2 together and I had repeats. I need to have 2 of these and 2 of these to make the 4 pieces to make the disappearing pinwheel look really awesome. So you would need repeats to be able to do it that way if you had 2 charm packs of the same, as long as you had repeats. I am using a charm pack that seems to only have a couple repeats so far, not even, they're mainly all singles. It's pretty cool actually. So it's going to look very scrappy when I am done. Cute little colors. This little print right here has hearts on it. They're little green hearts. And this one is a tone on tone with hearts. Going to be awkward with the yellow, but that's okay. I always tell myself it's only for the video, Tiffy. It's only for the video. But you know what? In reality, I have to sell these after the video once they're quilted. The life of a YouTube teacher. I have too many quilts. I need to sell them all. So if anybody is interested in purchasing a quilt that I have made, I do have a video of all of them that are for sale. And updated in the comments of I'm surprised I still had a bobbin. I was really going at it earlier with my other blocks. I changed, pretty sure it'll run out sooner or later. I gotta set this thing back up again. Alright, it was on, so yeah, okay, I saw that. Some people are never happy. Yeah, exactly, Jim. Jill working on my cathedral window now. Okay, so Sarah's working on her cathedral window. Walmart actually had some bolts of fabric the other day. It was nice to see crafty items back on the shelves. See, not here. They have changed the whole entire section. Used to be all bolts of fabric. Now it's all pre-cuts and only up to 3 yard increments. Like seriously, you know? So I have to buy 2 of those, you know, instead of having continuous, just to have my yardage, although we're still cutting it anyway to do our 108 backings. But still, I want my yardage continuous. When I'm buying from the bolt, at least. If I like something and it's on sale, I usually buy the whole bolt. That's why I have big bolts. or at least I buy end of bolts. Like there's a lot of, like Hobby Lobby always has end of sales. I like the end of bolt sales. And I always buy a bolt. Because it comes out at like less than $3 a yard, which is really awesome. Because you know me, savey, lots of money. Some of my lines are disappearing. They must have got hot here on the table. And if you are just joining, I drew my lines on all of my pieces with my friend. I am sewing on one side of the line all the way on all my pieces. Why? Because it gets this project done so much faster. I'm all about the speed. Let's get this done. Everyone's saying her is beautiful. Internet is really acting up and easy to. You know what? You're telling me this tablet. I don't know if that screen is doing it, but this is every couple seconds when I look over at it, it's spinning and then it's unspinning. It's spinning and unspinning. This video is behind on here, like really far behind. Looking forward to seeing your process. Hi, Eric. How's you doing tonight? Let's see. I buy on YouTube show, but I had trouble on the site. Yeah, I always buy on the YouTube videos. It's easier that way. They just send me a thing when I'm done. They'll send the invoice as long as you're keeping track. Oh, look, I'm on my last piece. As long as you're keeping track of what you spent, it makes it easier. I mean, obviously, on the website, you can you can look at cart or see what's in my cart and see how much you're spending. Just do like Becca always says, and make sure you write down the numbers that you purchased and how much you're spending as you're watching the video. Sarah is addicted to Saturday streams for so. Yeah, I think we all are. Even if we're not purchasing, we just watch them. Trouble is here. Eric's no trouble here. He minds his manners here. Huh, Eric? You guys could have fun. I don't mind that you guys chit-chat. Hi, Tammy. You didn't miss much. I'm making a disappearing pinwheel. All right, so we're going to turn this around or not. It doesn't really matter because I'm just going to be sewing on the other side now. Look at this. Just pull it all the way. Everything's already sewn together. Nothing's going to fall apart. That's what makes this so easy. Now I can just sew on the other side of the line and just continuously. Let's see how fast this goes, actually. Scoot myself over and get nice and good. Let's read the comments first so I can get all the way to the bottom. Speed limit and Tiff are total opposites. Come on now. Yeah. Saturday night works out for me. Everyone's saying hi. Oh, Sarah, I'm restocking my fabric for shortages. I watch, but I don't buy. Trying to pay off credit cards and not add to it, right? We always have to explain fabric purchases. I don't have to. I just say I'm going to buy something, and then it depends if I absolutely need it. That's the question. But I usually absolutely need it, so it doesn't matter if I buy it. I just have to have money to buy it. Catching funds will stall soon. Pamela Wright. Went to the post office fast. I buy off the internet, deliver before the wife gets home from work. That's like a woman that's a quilter. Hiding it. You burying it under your bed too, so she doesn't know you're stuffing all your fabric under the mattress. She's like, oh, this is such a soft mattress. It's all filled with fabric underneath. You guys ever seen that meme? The husband always thought the guest room had a bed, but it wasn't. It's a picture of totes underneath of a quilt on a fake bed. That is the funniest meme ever for quilting. Same way around the quilt's homes. Somebody says shelves full of fabric, but never have what I need to match what I'm working on. Right? That's the problem. That's why I have so many choices. Everyone says I have too much. I don't have too much. I have choices. That's what I have. Kim finished sewing crow, started making crumb blocks, so I have to be fixing boat motor once. I said, get a battery. He said, that's nice, fabric order or something. I'm like, okay. Meanwhile, 2 boxes at the post office. How funny. All right, let's go. We're going to shoot down all of this. I literally do this. When it's just me, I literally do that. You just got to stop the next piece from shaking before it gets to the foot, so that way you know you're on your line. Just watch the line, hold that next piece as it's coming up. One hand on that piece, one hand on the next, and you just zoom right through all of them. And if my husband was asleep, I probably would wake him by now. Or you can go slow. One piece at a time. And you guys know that this Juki is made to do stuff like this, right? It's made to continuously run. Just letting you know. I hate when they get turned upside down. Maybe if I slow down just a tiny bit, they won't turn upside down. All right, we ran out of thread. Doesn't that always happen when I must like go? My new setup here is so great. Instead of having my thread under here getting all messed up and mashed up, now it's just right there. I reach on the machine and my little caboodle thingy. It's also a little like, I don't even know what. Oh, this is one of those bobbins that doesn't fit in here. I had this problem. I don't know why it keeps ending up back in the bobbin thing. I've got thread on my face. Do any of you have that where you buy a package of bobbins and then just one bobbin just randomly does not fit in the bobbin case? This is the second, I bought 2 packages and both packages had a bobbin that didn't fit. And I don't know how I keep rolling on it and not separating it. I should put a marker line on it or something. I don't know. Maybe that would help. Okay, I saw that. Pamela, I wish fabric shops here would carry more geometric shapes than flowers. You know, that's another reason some fabric shops only carry what they like. If you guys haven't been to multiple fabric shops, I've been to multiple fabric shops, and some shops carry what the person that owns the shop likes or what sells the most. But then there's people that are like me or someone else, or someone else who says, well, I'm making something specific for somebody specific, and now I have to hunt online for it instead of just driving to my local quilt shop. But they're not going to carry it because nobody's ever purchased that kind of stuff at their store, so obviously they're not going to stock it. You know, I don't like that. I think they should have extra stuff just in case the strange people like us come in and say, you know, I was looking for such and such fabric. I saw it somewhere in a quilt and I want it. Oh yeah, I have that in the back. Let me go get it for you. You know, just because someone doesn't buy it now, you know, then doesn't mean someone's going to come, you know what I mean? Not going to come in and get it now. Every once in a while, somebody needs that. One of my shops in town caters more towards older prints that are, what's that word? You guys know what I'm talking about. Civil War style fabrics, and then batiks. And then the other store has more Modern, Tula, and Cafe Facet, and so on and so forth. They have those kind of prints. So both stores in town have a little bit different. So you go one place, you get one kind of thing, and you go the other place, you get the other kind of thing. And then I got a turned one. And I got a turned one. I'm just showing off here, guys, that I can do this. And we're coming on the last piece that just happened to be turned. Now, in my little caboodle, I just need to grab my little separator thing. All right, let's see. Cherry Pickle, hi everyone, getting ready to go to bed though. Thought I'd check in. Oh, well, you asked me if I was going to be on tonight. I said I thought, I don't know if I was, but I did, so I'm here. But now you know I'm here, so. But if you need to go to bed, go to bed. I don't expect everybody to be an insomniac. Jim's Bill's first most of the time. Yeah, that's the same here. Bills are always first. Not even most of the time. It's all of the time. I always get all my chains twisted. Not me. I don't know. Maybe it's just how I do it. I don't know. It has a little limit, thankfully. What are you working on tonight? I am making a disappearing pinwheel or pin churn or churn dash pinwheel or pin dash or whatever you want to call it. That's what I am making. But I'm only making a baby size. I don't feel like making anything bigger, so I'm using 5-inch squares because I was asked, it was a suggestion, if I could make something like this, and I said totally, because this is so easy and it's little, so it makes it easy to get it done quick. Juki also loves its oil. Yes, it does. I oil this thing so much. The other night, the mystery box for $3,050. Oh my god, my husband would kill me, but I love watching that. Right? Yeah, my husband would kill me too. All right, so I'm going to be turning these, I'm going to be trimming them exactly in half. So that way I tell you guys all the time, I tell you the instructions. So I'm going to trim them exactly in half on my line. And then I don't have like any of the special rulers like Jenny Dona, Missouri Star Quilt Company uses the slotted trimmer. I actually don't like the slotted trimmer. I tried it. My friend let me borrow hers. I had it for like 6 months. And I was like, I hate this thing. I hate it. I hate it. It was sliding and it was moving and blah, blah, blah. I just used my strip tube ruler because guess what? It's the same exact thing, right? So I don't need any other trimmer rulers because the strip tube ruler for Cozy Quilt Designs is the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and trim all these in half exactly. And before I even press anything, speaking of pressing, we're going to get that warming up. I'm going to trim them down to 4.5 inches, which my dotted line on my seam line, and bam, done. So, and yeah, I have to trim the dog ears off though because we are doing pinwheel. I do 100% suggest every time for pinwheels to trim your dog ears off, and or else you're gonna have like lumps and bumps, and it's very, very, very annoying. And I'm actually just learning how to actually sit here and cut. I never sit and cut. This is something I don't do. And it looks like I'm not even pressing hard enough because I'm not that way. This sucks because that didn't really cut that off of there. I'm not good with this whole sitting and cutting. I am a stand cutter. I miss my big table. And then since this isn't the slotted trimmer and you can't catch those, I just trim the dog ears by going crooked like this on the side. You just go from that corner down, and once you open it up and press it towards the dark, they're gone. So let me show you in a second where I'm trimming from. Just for those that are new and don't know, because you don't have these tools, you know, and you're trimming it down from a triangle using this strip tube ruler. I'm lining up the dotted line again on my seam. We're going to try to catch this stupid thing every time. There we go. It did catch, yay. And when I trim off, before pressing, when I go to trim off the dog ears, let's focus, focus, focus. Okay, so here's the seam line right there. You see that? I just come in from the outside right here and snip that, just like that, making a little triangle. And I never snip the seam line, so I just find the seam and I just snip a little triangle that way, and it gets rid of the dog ears. That way you don't have to go back and do it all over again when you're finished. So now that I showed you that, we're going to go ahead. Oh, I already trimmed this one. We're just going to go ahead and quickly go about removing all of these, throwing them over here on the ironing board. I think I'm just going to go ahead and cut them all in half first, because that's faster. The chain cutting, chain piecing, chain trimming, chain pressing to me is faster. And I'm so not used to sitting and doing this. I made an unexpected stop at the fabric store today. Her sign was out stating open, so I had to do, and just picked up some black fabric and some white fabric. Yeah, those are my main two basics too. I always, Tammy, I'm like 100% with you. Black and white, always, every time. Looking forward to your room tour. I already did the room tour, Jill. I posted a video. I did it live stream, and I literally took you guys OCD. I showed you why and how I keep everything all situated a specific way, and it makes it easier for me. So there's a live stream video. It says my room tour of my room / OCD. So it's there, and I go through every nook and cranny in my room. Where are we? Some kind of pinwheel churn dash. Disappearing pinwheel is what I am making for those that are just joining. I'm right now cutting on my line that I drew, or in between both of my sewing lines, and then I will go ahead and start trimming them. So like right now I have a big enough pile where I can just sit here and trim them all to size with my strip tube ruler at 4.5 inches, or you can press the block open and then trim it at 4.5 inches. That way, either way, as long as you trim your block down to 4.5 inches. And you shouldn't cut towards you. That is totally not appropriate, but I'm doing it only because I'm on video, so please do not copy what I do, because you take the chance of actually hurting yourself. So I have cut myself many times. Hi Gwen, welcome. Good for you. Keep it business. You type faster than I do, Kim, right? Tony saw the tour, now reworking mine. Yeah, I don't expect, like, I show you guys these things for a reason. Like I don't know, some people have asked me, how do I stay organized? How do I this? How do I that? If I show you my ways and you don't like some of the ways, but some of the things I do is definitely a way to save space. Like making my own pre-cuts and putting them in their own little bins. It's saving space, keeping it all together, and that's the way I like it. Keeping everything on bolts tightens everything up, so it gives you more room on shelves, more room for more fabric, right? And then all the little totes and stuff, everything is organized. Pre-pressing all of my fabrics. The reason why I do that is so that I don't have to do it later. You know what I mean? So when I decided I want, I say it in the video, when I decide I want one of my neat scraps, or I need a piece, say I screw this up. If I screw this up, I need a piece that looks like this. I could just dig through this drawer. It's already pressed, ready to go. I just need to trim it to size. It's right there. And I don't keep any of my stuff in any specific order. And I did cut this one, right? No, I did not, because I didn't trim the dog ears off. I don't keep anything in any specific color order, because that confuses my mind. That's something that other people are not confused by, but I definitely am confused by color order. I cannot have anything in order color wise because all I'll see is a pile of red and I don't want that. So, but I do give you guys the room tour and lots of ideas on storage and organization. Just because I'm OCD doesn't mean you need to be, but it definitely helps to know how other people, you know, keep their rooms. And I've watched several other YouTubers and their room storage, even just regular sewists that aren't quilters, and how they keep their stuff. You know, they keep their patterns in certain little bins and stuff. And just know in organization that the dollar store is your friend. I'm telling you. And Jim, I forgot to tell you, the other night when I was on the room tour, I said Dollar General a bazillion times. It's not the Dollar General. I drove past it today because I went with a friend to lunch, and I drove past Ross, and it's the Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree is the place that has the fabric that's 2 inches bigger than an average fat quarter for $1. And they're really cute. So you just have to look in the craft aisle on the bottom shelf. Literally, it was on the bottom shelf. I don't know how your guys' dollar stores are lined up or set up or whatever, but some dollar stores are pretty much all the same, but Dollar Tree has it on that bottom shelf. And while I'm talking, I'm going to go ahead and press some of these. That way I can get to the next part, even if I don't get the whole quilts done in one video. I didn't feel like standing tonight, so as you can tell, I shrunk my ironing board down so that I could just sit and work all night. Unless my screen goes out and I have to get up and look. So I'm just pressing everything to the dark side, which just so happens to be the red color and not my background. I'm still going to press towards the back, my print fabric, even on those white on white squares. All right. So I'm just going to press some, cut some, press some, and this trash can is really in my way right now. Maybe I could cut better if the trash can was in there. Just one finger, Jim's. Oh, Jim's using a stylus. Cherie's working on pinwheels right now. Oh, fun. Hi, Diane. Everyone's saying hi. Let's see. Tammy says she'll be closing up shop when her home is completed. I'll have to catch the ferry to go buy my Oh, man, that sucks. Just one of those. Eric says hi, Diane. And Tiffany, I want to order shirt. Where do you sell them? I actually do not have merchandise. Why? Because my channel only has 2,228 subscribers. So I don't have merchandise. Maybe when I get over 3,000, I will contact the person that I already talked with about merchandise, at least for shirts. But right now, I don't have merchandise. And when I do, you guys will all know. But just know, you could go to a t-shirt shop and have a t-shirt made that says, I love watching Tiffany's Quilting Live. Or, I'm an Insomniac with Tiffany. Or something, because I'm going to be having shirt, if and when I do, my shirts that I have made are going to be something silly. They're not going to be your average quilting shirt that says something plain like Tiffany's Quilting Life. It's actually going to be something that's very silly and funny, and kind of goes with the fact that you watch my silliness and so on and so forth. So yeah. So sooner or later I will. Just not right now. Kind of sucks, but sooner or later. Pamela, let's see, video helped me out. I'll have to look that one up. Hi, Patricia. I cut the same pieces. Hi, Regina. I'm not good. I'm just hyper at night. That's why Insomniac videos are always my best videos, because I'm always hyper at night. It's like 9 p.m. hits and I'm just a totally different person. It's weird. Plus, I haven't slept in a couple days. Ask Kim. She'll tell you. I've been talking to her for the last couple days that I haven't slept, and she hasn't slept either. Ain't that right, Kim? We're both some just wide awake people. All right, Joe. Good night. Get some sleep. Everyone's saying good night. All right. I'm going to go and try to just like go through these really quickly, like as fast as I can, like as fast as I can. This whole sitting and cutting towards me thing is so scary. When it's just me, I'll like stand here and do all this, and I'll cut all the outsides first and then I'll trim the dog ears. And to keep my ruler from slipping, because it's a creative, or it's a Cozy Quilts design strip tube ruler, to keep it from slipping, because it's a very slippery ruler, I put medical tape on the back, and it actually helps it from sliding. So those that are curious, some of my specialty rulers though, to keep those from slipping, I use hot glue gun. And one of my really first old videos on my channel is the ruler secret of using hot glue gun to keep your fussy cut rulers and or templates from slipping when you use them, because it really works good. And you don't put a big chunk of glue. I show you in the video. You just put a little amount of glue. They dry pretty darn quick, and you can turn the fabric with the once it's done. Like, you could literally put the ruler on and the fabric will turn with it. It does with the medical tape, but not as good. It gets out of line. But yeah, I show you how to do that in a really old video. That was what got me started on YouTube, was that video had so many views. I was like, well, what if I just start teaching what I'm learning? And then bam, I started being a YouTuber. That was a long time ago. Diane remembers, because Diane's been with me since the very beginning, pretty much. And I've been 100% live streaming for almost completely 4 years. But my channel's been active for 7 or more, maybe more than that. But for about almost 4 years, I've been an active YouTuber. It wasn't as good in the beginning, though. I can tell you that much. My older videos really suck. And these videos aren't that good of quality either, but I'm never going to change. There's no way I'm going to ever be that computer person that knows what she's doing, because I have no idea what I'm doing. I just like to make videos and teach you guys what to make and how to make it. That's it. I like showing you what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, which is good enough for me. If the video is watchable, then that's it. That's all we need, right? I'm just trimming away my dog ears now. We're going to press all these pieces now, because I got some other colors going on here. And then I'll read comments again. Try to use the iron often so that it doesn't turn itself off. Now you guys just get my backside. But that's okay. And I use steam. I always use steam. I don't care what anyone says. I don't bow my half square triangles because I'm using steam. Someone was telling me once, no, don't use steam on half square triangles because you'll bow them. No, if you hold it, set your iron down and roll your iron back, you won't bow it. You know, and then just add steam right after you're done rolling it back. You know, so those two got messed up because I made too big of a stack while I was looking back and talking to you guys. And I just fix them by rolling the front side. Add some steam and it's done. Just knock the seam the opposite way. Too big of a stack. Don't make it too big of a stack either when you're pressing half square triangles. Alright. I have enough right now, so we're going to skip the trimming just so that I can show you guys how this is done, and then the rest of it I can do off camera. That way I'm not on here all night long. Alright. So we're going to move that out of the way. What we're going to do is we're going to take 4 colors or 4 pieces, and I guess I'm just sticking with reds right now. Oh, we'll add a pink to this one. So we're going to take 4 of these, and we're going to make a pinwheel. So you guys can see right here. We're going to do the board like I said we would. For a pinwheel, you have 4 blocks. And don't mind my drawings, they are never good. But for those of you who are beginners, this always is a good thing to draw it out. So it'll be color, the next one will be the solid, then the next one will be the color, solid, color. So where I colored in my crappy, not so working very good whiteboard, that is how you're going to lay your pinwheel out. Can you see that? I'm pretty sure you can. Hopefully, if I tip it back maybe. So that is how we're going to be laying our pinwheel out. So again, we're going to put it in. There's a color, or the solid will be on the outside. Then the next one, the solid will be in the top. Then the next one down. You got to turn them around. Then the solid will be down at the bottom left or bottom right. And then the solid will be at the bottom left. So that is how a pinwheel is laid out. You guys can see that. For those that are beginners, this is how this works. And we're going to erase this for the next part. So we'll probably make 2 blocks just right now for the video's sake, and then the rest I'll do off camera. All right, so what we're going to do, here's our pinwheel. We're going to take this, right sides together here, take this bottom one, right sides together here, and 90% of you know how to make a pinwheel, but we're just going to do it anyway with 100% direction. We are going to nest these seams because I pressed everything towards this, what I would call my print, because my background is a solid. So everything is pressed towards my print, and the other, towards the solid, sorry. It's pressed towards the dark, if that makes any sense. Anyways, they're all pressed the same way. So they're nesting. These are so flat, it is like just 2 pieces of fabric. So let's make sure that because I was just playing with them, that I didn't over move them out. Yep, I did, because I was just playing with them. Don't play with your blocks. Don't play with your blocks. Get them in the order they need to be in. Just like that. So I'm going to take these 2. I'm not going to mess with them and show you. I'm just going to nest the seams, and I'm going to stitch my 1/4 inch seam. Remember, these are 4.5 inch blocks now. 4.5 inch half square triangles. I'm going to sew my 1/4 inch seam here. And the same when I made my half square triangles, I'm just going to chain piece this through. Just like this. So I'm just going to add that next piece right below it. Make sure everything's nice and lined up. So my 1/4 inch seam. Now they're still hooked together. There's no way you're going to get these out of order even if it turns itself, because if you open them up, you should still have a pinwheel. So instead of going to the iron at this point, because there's no point in doing that unless you absolutely have to, I'm going to press this top seam to the left and the bottom seam to the right with my finger, or you can use, if you have a pressing tool that you get from Quilts, she sells these from her channel in her shop. You can use your little pressing tool to press. Half square triangles are a little bit harder because they are on the bias and they stretch, so be careful using that tool when you're using half square triangles. Now we're going to take them right sides together, and we're going to sew a seam down the side that they're still hooked. And we're also going to be nesting those 2 seams. And if you would have left your dog ears, you would have a big rat's nest underneath, right here at this end, and it would be really hard to sew. So you just sew it really nicely, keeping everything all nested together. It's beautifully together. Pinwheels are the easiest to make, and if we open this up, I don't have the perfect pinwheel, but good enough. I really can care less, because I can care less. So here is my pinwheel block. I'm going to press this and then read some comments before I go to the next part. So let's roll myself over here. I really like my rolly chair. I just wish it wasn't so hard on my legs to roll it. Before I spend money on one of those things, I want to find one used, because I think if I find one used, it'd be cheaper for me. Okay. So now we have a pinwheel. And what we're going to do next is, hold on a second, because I got to make sure that the one piece that I'm doing, yeah. All right. So I always have to dig out my stuff to make sure that this is, because I'm doing a different one than I did the last time. So I have to dig out my papers. So I'm going to grab another ruler that's now, because this is 8.5 inches, 8.5 inches. We're going to come over with this ruler, I'm using my Missouri Star 15 by 6. Is it 6 or 5? This is 5. 5 by 15 inch ruler. And I am going to lay it down on one side of the block. And this is where it's best to have a turntable-y. Where's my little thingy? I don't have a turntable-y thingy, but I do have this stupid Japanese thing that's in centimeters that I've never used except for trimming things because it sucks. Anyway, we're going to lay this down on here. Anywhere you have a seam, you don't have to worry about that. That's not your guide. What we're going to do is go from the outsides of the block. So we got to draw that pinwheel again. Why? Because we got to draw it again. There it is. So we're going to draw this pinwheel real quick so that you guys can see, because the camera, I'm not going to pick it up and move it around. And I have the hiccups, by the way, just so you can see. So here's our pinwheel. From this edge right here, this side, we're going to come in like this with the ruler on the line 3 inches, okay? 3 inches. That's 3 inches. Okay, so we're going to come over 3 inches. We're going to do it just like this. Keep those right there. We're going to come over 3 inches like this. We're going to line that 3-inch mark up. Make your cut. Do not disturb your fabric. Turn it. Turn the whole entire thing if you can. If you don't have a way to turn, I would say have a second cutting board and just use that on top, or somehow turn your whole body around it, which on my table I probably could do if I work in the middle. So now we're going to lay that ruler now on this corner right here, and we're going to come over 3 inches right here. So we just cut 3 inches right here, this section. Now we're cutting 3 inches right here from this line, okay, and so on and so forth. You're getting the picture here, aren't you? And then we'll look at comments. So we're going to come up 3 inches to line that 3-inch mark. Make your cut. Again, turn it. This is, I need a bigger one. This is so small. I can only do an 8.5-inch block. My goodness. So now we're on this next corner right here. We're on this side, and we're going to be cutting 3 inches across here. So technically, we're just slicing this block all up, right? So we're coming over 3 inches, 3 inches. And if you have 45-degree lines on all of your rulers, every single ruler that you own should have 45-degree lines on that. If you don't trust yourself on your 3-inch, line up that 45-degree angle as well as your 3-inch line, because you'll have a more accurate cut. Just letting you know that for those of you that are new to quilting. So there's my 3 inches there. Turn it one more time. Again, now we're on this last corner right here, cutting this way. So this should be the last cut. We're going to come in 3 inches. We're going to lay that on there, lay that on there. Everything's nice and good. And we're going to make that cut. So now, ready? It's stuck. See, this is my little Chinese board. I could have used my hand, but I just thought it was funny to show you guys what happens every time I use that thing. Anyway. So, I'm going to peel all these apart. Peel it all apart. Yours you probably won't have to, but I do. So now, let's erase this, erase this, erase this. Now that it's all cut, put your half square triangles in one pile. And your dash ones now in another pile. And your pinwheel is all by its lonesome. So now what we're going to do is not use this marker. That's the one for the eraser only. Now this one doesn't want to work. Oh my goodness. Let's see if my red one works. Oh yes, my red one works. All right, now we have, hold on, we got to be able to do this and try to make it equally, because now we're going to be putting together a 9 patch. It started out as a 4 patch that is now a 9 patch. So we're going to have this, right? Because there's 9 pieces, 4 here, and that. So that's 9 pieces. So we're going to take, and now I'm going to draw this towards myself or else I'm not going to get it correctly. Really quick. I'm going to draw it out so that you guys can see, because I'm really, really horrible at explaining. If I press hard, this thing works nicely. All right, and then we're going to have this, this, that, and that. And then a little pinwheel here. My pinwheel is probably not going to be in the direction that I'm going to color this, but we're just going to show you anyway. Okay, so we're going to put where I color is going to be where your prints are going to go, or you can do the opposite. Just, I'm doing it this way just because it makes it easier on my brain. We're going to color this all in. If I press hard, it works so good. Okay, so I'm going to show this to you. This is what we're going to be doing right here. Can you see that? I'm hoping so. Yes, right? 55 people not sleeping. While I'm holding this up, I got to scroll back to wherever we were. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, you guys have been typing a whole lot while I've been trying to... Where were we? Okay, I saw that Regina came in. Jill went to bed. Where was I? That was what happened on Sunday. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's asking who, what, when, where, why. Who needs sleep when you have TQL, right? Because I'm silly and I keep you guys awake. That would be good on a shirt, right? Perfect. Let's see. Yeah, this one is custom. It was made for me. It says Tiffany's Insomniac Quilting. And then T custom made one for me that says Tiffany's Quilting Life. And that is actually, the one that T did is actually my logo, which T has saved because I don't know where I saved the logo thing. So if I ever did do a sticker or shirts or something, the actual just Tiffany's Quilting Life thing has its own logo. So yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, save that in your mind, Jim, because maybe if you guys have funny sayings, by the time I hit 3,000 subscribers and I totally go about that whole thing with the having merchandise, then those would be the ideas of things that'll go on to shirts. And maybe we can even do giveaways for the ones that did choose that, because we can go through the videos and find that comment, you know. The person that chose that saying can be the one that gets the first free t-shirt kind of thing. But again, this is, you know, once I get 3,000. So you guys get my subscribers up, we could start figuring out how we can get me merch. Because I already have someone that'll make me the shirts. So, but only shirts for now and stickers. So that'll be all I'll have for right now. Kathleen. Hi, Kathleen. Help my friends. It's funny that I make my daughter like that. I don't know. It's because I've had a pain issue, but my oldest regular old gal sleeping at night. LOL. Hi, Stitchin. Welcome. Hi, Deanna. I had to make a shirt to me quilting life. Quilting in the fast lane. Peace out, right? Oh yeah, the peace out would have to be on the back side though. On the back, it'd have to have just a little peace out across the back top, you know. Let's see. So Eric had a definitely good idea. Love quilting in the fast lane. Make sure you get your commission, right? Tiff, if I knew there could teach you how to make clothes from a pattern. Hi, Colleen. Oh, I already said hi to you, Colleen, but she says she wants all night. She wants me on all night. How fun. I can keep going after. I just want to make sure that I get the whole block thing out of the way. Quilting for the soul. I was talking to her, talking to that. I think Eric needs a cocktail, right? He has good ideas though, and he probably hasn't had his cocktail, or maybe he has. Have you, Eric? Okay. All right. Good night, Tam. You probably left a long time ago because there was a lot of comments that I was missing, and I just scrolling and people are saying lumpy pinwheels on early quilts. Oh my God! You should see my old early pinwheels. Woo wee! They're probably just like yours. Regina, same here, huh? 54 of you here. My goodness. Hi Dawn, welcome new to this channel. Good morning from the UK. Well, good morning to you, and it is the middle of the night. Well, technically it hasn't hit midnight yet, so it's only 11:42 for me. I'm here in Arizona, so welcome to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you like it. I just teach quilting, so I've had some people come on here asking what kind of sewing I do, and I just quilt. Sometimes I make bags, sometimes I make clothes, but clothing is not often, and bags is whenever I feel like it. Hanging in there. I'm fading, so calling it a night. Okay, Eric, we'll see you next time. Don't forget Tiffany, thumbs up. Thank you, Jim, for the thumbs up reminder. What? Kim says only 24 thumbs up. Hit that like button if you're not chatting, huh? All right, and everyone said good night to Eric. Okay, all right, so we're gonna lay this out exactly like I showed. So I'm gonna put my pinwheel in the middle, and then I'm gonna take this wonderful yellow fabric and put it like this, like this, like this, and I shouldn't have done the 3 inches. Why did I do 3 inches? I have no idea, because nothing is correct. And I told you guys 3 inches. See, I'm screwing it up already. What happened? Was it supposed to be 2.5? Read my paper, Tiffany. We're going to have to make another block because I ruined this already. See why I tell you guys to have already ready fabric? Because I ruined this. It was supposed to make a 9-inch block. Why was I supposed to make a 9-inch block? This was 8.5 inch. I didn't get a 9-inch block and I have 1/4 inch seams. I probably pulled the wrong directions. We're going to do this one more time. I have a feeling it's going to be 2.5 inches. So I'm going to throw that out of the way. You guys get the idea of what I'm doing here, right? Now that we've realized that I'm a total moron dork in the middle of the night. Okay, let's try this one more time. With 2 heavies and 2 lights. Okay. Let's do it again. Oh my, my, my. Come on. I'm having a problem tonight. Sometimes that means I shouldn't be sewing. There we go. Let's try this again, except we're going to go with the 2.5 like the last one. If this is an 8.5 inch block, it should be 2.5 then. How big did these come out? They came out 3. These are not 3 though. How did these not come out 3? Did I cut something wrong? That part came out 3. Why didn't it come out 3 that way? How did I get that little center come out? We're just going to divide it by 3, obviously. 8.5 divided by 3. Can anybody tell me 8.5 divided by 3 so I don't mess up again? I don't have my calculator available. See what happens? And my husband says these videos are actually good quality. You know why? Because I screw up. And so do you guys. In real life, everybody screws up at one point. And that you guys should see that I'm not perfect. So, you can't think I'm perfect. I screw up all the time. Like just now. Seriously. I'm pretty sure it's a 2.5. Divided by 3. No, it's 2 3/4. 2 1/4. 2 1/4. It's 2 1/4. I'm gonna have to look. Hi, Lynetta. Just woke up having trouble sleeping. Noticed Tiffany was on. Thought I'd stop by and say hi. Well, hello. All right. Let's try this again. Same layout though. It's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna turn out. Hopefully, turn out looking like this. And I don't even know if you can see that, but you should be able to. So again, I'm going to press this way. I'm going to press this way. Try this one more time. If I mess this one up, I'm going to be so mad because I don't have any more of this print. And it is so cute, but it's okay because there would have been 2 leftover blocks. Or 1 leftover block anyway. So that's okay. I'll just make an even smaller quilt. But the mess ups show you guys that nobody's perfect. right, let's try this again. Did I just kick you all off my channel with the, oops, Tiffany made a mistake? I get to talking and stuff and I mess things up. We're going to look at this before pressing. It's going to be 8.5 again. I don't know what happened. We're going to make another one. We're going to cut some pieces while that iron gets warm, actually. Let's cut some of this up. That way it's already ready. At least you guys know how the block is done. And I'll give you new measurements in a second because I got an 8.5 inch block instead of a 9 inch block. So I guess I can cut all this up for now. Don't you hate when that happens? I feel like a moron tonight. That's what I get for having a headache. Lynette makes mistakes all the time. Well, I do too. And then I fix them, and then I write it down, and then I lose the part that I wrote down, and then I only have the part that I screwed up on. I literally have like different sizes all written down for this. I just don't want to dig through all that right now because I found this one only because it was on top. Well, not on top, but close enough. And it's all messed up. It's for a 9 inch block. Did anybody ever figure out what this whole dividing by thing is? What did I say? 8.5 divided by 3, right? Calculator. .5 divided by 3 equals 2.83. What? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3/4. It was like the 2 3/4 one that I said. We're gonna try this at the. Let's see. Hold on. We're gonna do something real quick. That's not 4.5 one. I only trimming off 1/8 of an inch, so technically that's still not big enough. But I think if I sew them together as they are, I'm gonna have a lot of excess, and I don't want to do that. So let's do 8 divided by 3, 2.6. These are all random numbers. Why? We'll just go down to 2 3/4. 2.75. It's okay if I mess up because you guys are here to witness me figuring out what's going on here. Because this is made with 5 inch squares. It has been every time. Watch it be the 2 3/4 like it was supposed to be, because that one is short by like almost 1/2 inch, those middle pieces. If I mess up again, it's okay. All right. SB, I won't wait. What? Finally, washed my hair yesterday since surgery, and all the chunks fell out. Bad day. What happened from surgery, Lynetta? Sorry to hear that, sweetie. It's not always a mistake. Sometimes it's a new block design, right? All right, let's press this real quick and get this cut. Because I can trim the block down if needed. And these need to be cut still. This is totally what I get for using this stupid little board. Okay, let's do this at 2 3/4. It's about 1/2 inch off, so 2 3/4 should work. 1, 2 3/4. Actually, we're going to go the one less. What's the one less? 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What was that number again? 2, 8, 3? No, yeah, 3/4 is closer. Okay, 2 3/4. Because it was a 1/2 inch off. We're gonna go 2 3/4 and make sure that this is correct. 2 3/4. 2 3/4. Maybe it's the sitting and cutting that's messing me up, because I am not used to sitting and cutting. This is something I never do. So recently, because I got this new table. Two 3/4 is the closest it's gonna get. Very close, very, very close. It's gonna be needed to be trimmed, but this is gonna work. This is gonna work. So do 2 3/4. We'll still have to trim the block, but we're gonna lay this out now, right in front of me, so that you guys can see all these bright pieces up here. So we're gonna put the pinwheel in the middle. We're gonna do this all over again. We're gonna put that there, that there. Actually, I kind of want to do it like this. I want to put mine in order of where the colors are. Nope, that one's on this side. Why? Because I'm being weird and I screwed up anyway. So we're gonna put that facing out, that facing out, that facing out, and that facing out. Look at that! Oh, I'm doing something right now. Okay, so I'm gonna scoot it over just a little. We're gonna go right sides together with this. I'm gonna line up only. It's not really like in total 1/8 of an inch, so this should fit in the seam allowance. I don't know why 8.5 wasn't a solid number, so I guess we're gonna have to make 9-inch blocks next time. But I'm gonna go ahead and sew these through the regular 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then I'll show you the block because it's working. It's gonna fit in the seam allowance. 2 3/4 is what I use. And then I'm going to line this one up at the bottom, and then at the end I'll have to trim the block ever so slightly. I'll be shaving off of it, so I'm going to press this towards the center. I'm going to press this towards the outway, this towards the center, and then I'm going to add this, this, and this. And I'm lining up the corners for the outer pieces. I'm lining up the inner corners. If the outer one doesn't match, oh well, because that's the part that's sticking up. That's what I'm lining up. Because it's literally not, I mean, it's not even a full 1/8 of an inch away, because that number was a 5/8. But the middle one, I'm lining up into the middle of the whole entire piece. And I'll have to come up and actually show you the camera what I'm talking about. So, because it's working for me and for my random 8.5 inch block. So this is what I mean by the way I lined it up. So all the parts that are going to be in this seam right here, those are lined up. So see how this piece is sticking out just a little bit? And then the middle, it's going to fit into the seam allowance. So see how it's sticking up just ever so slightly on both sides like that. And then the bottom, those, again, I lined up all the color. So all I'll have to trim is this outer piece right here. So throw that back over there. All hooked together. So the middle one should fit in a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Again, it's not even 1/8 of an inch off. So it should be okay. So again, I'm going to press in for this top one, out for the next one, and in for the bottom. So the 2 3/4 is working. Now I'm just going to line these up, and I'm going to line this edge up and keep that in towards the center of both. As long as these seams are nesting, everything should line up, because the seams are nesting. So that's the part that is lining up, is the nested seams. because once you sew that 1/4 inch seam, you're good. So next time I make this, I think I'm going to go ahead and not use 5-inch squares. I think I'm going to use something else to end up with a 5-inch square. That way we can have a 9-inch block for my directions that I had here. Okay. Press that out. So I will have to trim this block when I'm done, but that's okay. So again, I'm going to nest that center. Just run it through. Nest the next one. Everything's pressed the way I want it. Lined up nicely. 1/4 inch seam. Finger press it out, and I'm going to go press this at the iron. It should still be on. Yay, it is. Yeah, next time I am not trimming my blocks. I'm going to use a bigger size. That's probably why I had that, because I didn't use charm squares. That is not a pattern. Alright. So now you can see it's sticking up just a little bit. See that? On the top and the sides and the bottom. In the middle. All we have to do is trim that off. You know what I mean? So there's the block. This was done at 2 3/4, so there's a little bit of lining up to do, but that's only because it's 1/8 of an inch off due to the fact that it's not a 9-inch block that I was supposed to end up with in the first place. So there that is. So I'm going to trim this real quick, because now we have a, from this edge to this edge, we have a 7.5 inch block now, almost 7.5 inch block, I should say. That's okay, as long as they all come out the same exact size. I'm only trimming away this little excess piece from the middle. So I guess this is for the tiny, tiny ones, if you guys want to make tiny, tiny ones. But the other way is 3 inches because from a 9-inch block. Tell me how I know that, because 3, 6, 9, the easiest math. So there's my block, and with the rest of all of my pieces, I will be lining them up like this. So technically, I can still put the other one together, you know what I mean? But this will be smaller because of the way I had cut it. So now I'm going to put them together just as is. I'm going to go ahead and trim them all and see if that makes a big difference. Because trimming down to 4.5 made myself an 8.5 inch block. So we don't want an 8.5 inch block. We originally wanted a 9-inch block, but we'll put pieces together this way. It's not like I really have to make this quilt, so I can do whatever I want. When it comes to this, I could have just one block for all I care. I'm not really wasting anything because I always still do something with all of my stuff, so. Those ones in this pile are already trimmed to 4.5, but I'm going to press these guys and just leave them the size that they ended up. And then we're going to do some math again for those that want to just do it from the way the 5-inch square lays, because I need to write it down anyway for future use, since my 9-inch block did not come out of this. I'm probably going to miss a lot of comments. Oh, is it from chemo? Is that what it was? I'm missing. I'm missing it. Tip at 3/4 should be 1/4 inch off fabric from the last piece. That's fine, Kathleen. Like you saw. Cool beans, fun colors too. Delilah, do you recommend chemo ads? I started when I received when I donated. That's one cold cap. Okay, so I'm not really missing much. I'll ask in the morning during my next treatment. Best of luck. Huge hugs your way. Yes, prayers. yes, hopefully things go good. Oh, that fabric, like strawberry lemonade on a beautiful day, right? It's beautiful. It's beautiful fabric. So no matter what I end up making out of all this, I could throw these all together into something and then throw that block on the side or the back or something. It wouldn't even matter. Because to me, I really don't care. I am now teaching myself something while you guys sit here and watch, because for some reason I should have had Ma before I sat. That's okay. This block ends up at, and if I have to trim down, maybe it'll end up that size. Who knows? And who cares? Because plus it gives me something to do in the middle of the night. And the person that requested this video, you know who you are. I am totally sorry that it's supposed to be a 9-inch block. You're supposed to have a 9-inch block. So maybe this will give me a 9-inch block. Just leaving them like this. As long as your 1/4-inch seam is accurate. You know? So I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way. Chop all these like this, and we're just going to scissor cut or cut off all the dog ears once we start sewing them together into pinwheels. Or after I press them all, because I'm going to press everything real quick. And I just got to remember that those are my cut pile. We'll see what the numbers come out. Alright, 2 more pieces to cut, and then I'll press a bunch real quick. We'll cut some dog ears, and we'll see what our numbers come out as. Or if I do always have to trim these down now to end up with my 7.5-inch block. Well, it's a little bit less than 7.5. It's actually 7.5. It's not even, it's barely a hair less, but that doesn't bother me. Alright, let's press some of these. Some different colors. I already told you guys the name of this fabric is Lemonade. Or lemon. It's just lemon. But obviously lemonade comes to mind, like you said. Here's a couple of them. Let's trim off the dog ears so that they're not in the way. Try to just get this all done. I probably should use scissors, but I don't feel like it because I'm just doing what I'm doing already. How much fun are you guys having watching me make a disaster and screw things up tonight? These colors are so adorable too. I hate to waste this, you know? Come on. I'm just go ahead and press all of them because I'm like literally right here doing this. recharge the iron every couple minutes. Pressing. I'm already out of water. That's okay. Let's just get these pressed. This is the time where I wish that Scott was awake to read comments, because I'm like getting behind. Short but sweet. Hold on. Where am I? Buffering off and on. Oh, I'm so sorry. Make an accent pillow with the mistakes. I have some odd sizes that make out of scrap blocks too. I did that too. Blocks sometimes. Mine did some buffering, but it's okay now. It was okay. Buffering off and on. I told you guys I have horrible internet, so. Short but sweet here at 8 a.m. Gotta go. Shorter for the school run. I subscribe, so hopefully catch you all live again. Sleep well and take care. Okay, bye, Dawn. Thank you for joining and thank you for subscribing. We'll see you next time. Hi, Terry. Welcome. I'm making a mess of things tonight, so we're just math problems. That's the problem. Math problems tonight. Sometimes I should like have a pattern ready instead of going on the fly with my 5-inch squares, because I knew what I was doing until I was doing it. So we're going to try something real quick, because I already messed up 2 blocks. Well, technically messed up 2 blocks, but now I'm purposely going to be messing up another block. Alright, while that warms up, let's start cutting some so that I can use more than one color. We're going to see what these end up at as soon as I am done. Come on, come on. Stick it up a little. Does anybody else cut their dog ears this way, or do you guys use scissors? Because you guys, for those of you that are new to my channel, you want to know what my mom calls this step? Yeah? You curious? She calls it circumcising the fabric. Circumcise the fabric. The next step is to circumcise the fabric. I know, she's so silly, right? But I love my mom. Gotta love her. She made something new. It's her saying. I've never heard it before. It was so funny. If you guys want to hear her actually saying it, it's on my birthday last year. She came here and she made a block for my birthday block, and for everybody that sent in birthday blocks, my mom actually came here and made her 2 blocks, and for my birthday quilt, and I was showing her she had never made, so I have her first blocks in the quilt, and she'd never made them before, and we got to the step of cutting, and she it was the funniest thing. She just blurted it out. I was like, this is trimming the dog ears. She says, no, this is circumcising the fabric. The funniest thing. QFTS. What's that? Hi, Rose. First time catching me live. Well, welcome. This is your first time catching me actually really screwing up on a live, because I usually do my best to have everything planned out and mathematics are correct, but I could have swore I was making a 9-inch block tonight, but that's okay. I'm having fun. Right now I'm just trimming all this up so I can make some more blocks real quick, but we're going to check a new math number in just a minute as soon as I sew some of these together, but I want to finish pressing the rest of all the blocks first. Whether I get the dog ears trimmed off or not, I still want to get it all pressed. Such adorable fabric too. I should have made sure I knew what I was doing first. I should have made a pre-block. And you know, that drawer I showed you guys in my room tour video, a lot of those are pre-blocks from quilts that I've made in videos. I make a block before I even make the video, you know, so that I can show you what I'm doing. And yeah, I have a lot of pre-made blocks in that drawer. And unfortunately, I did not do that tonight, because I was so caught up in my other quilt project that's sitting over here. That's all screwed up because of math as well, but that's okay. I'm really having a math day. Just everything bad turned into one of those days. almost done pressing these. I mean, they're technically is 42 times 2. Do you know the math on that? My brain can't think of it. What's 42 times 2?
84.
Oh, who said that? Somebody say that? This is the silliest time of the day for me. So screw-ups, I guess, are okay. Normally I would be cussing and screaming and yelling at myself. What the heck were you thinking? In my brain. I usually don't do it out loud because the girls are in here, and one has now started repeating everything we say. You know how children repeat everything adults say? I have to watch my potty mouth because I have a bad potty mouth. And I'm hoping you guys can still hear me really good being over here because I have the microphone plugged in. Pretty sure it should be really loud. Almost done. Almost there. Put them like really close to me. I even brought myself in a snack too, and it's just sitting over here all by its lonesome, waiting for me. I need water in the iron even, so I can have some steam. You can still use the iron without the water tray, by the way. Still works, but I like having steam. Hi, Lisa. Haven't seen you in a while. It's great to have you here. That 49, there's 50 of you who can't sleep almost? Oh my goodness. Bring my snack over here. I brought myself some Jolly Rancher gummies. Thinking I was desperately going to need them, and so far I'm just frustrated at myself for not putting things together before a video. Doing a suggested video on the fly. But we're going to fix this. We're going to make it one time better. So you got to have to watch this whole entire video to get the more accurate block. The best results. Alright, one more piece to press. Alright. Okay, the dog ears are all off of all of these. These are the trimmed ones, and these are the gummies that I'm about to inhale. Don't you just love it? Yes. Okay. Hope I'm not making you other insomniacs all hungry now for some Jolly Rancher gummies. Alright. Oh, let me grab a second one before I start. Hi, Shannon. Who else is here? Hi, Rose. You remember the video, but you missed that? You'll have to go watch it. As soon as my mom says that she's circumcising the fabric, it's so funny. So funny. I just like blurted out of her. Thank you, Kim, for the thumbs up reminder again. Hi, Tony. All right. Oh, I don't need this. Let's just put that aside. And yes, close your rotary blades because you don't want to be like me and chopping fingers off. It turns out, right now we're just laying out a pinwheel. So I'm choosing 4 different prints. I kind of want 2 darks and 2 lights. We'll put a red one in this one. No, because that's the same as that. Let's put this one. There we go. So here's my pinwheel. Let's put this together without trimming the blocks down to 4.5 inches. Grab ourselves a number and then go from there. And to have even more accuracy, we're going to put my little seam guide down to make sure that I 100% every time have a 1/4 inch seam. See what happens. come on, come on. Stay right there. There you go. It's on the 1/4 inch line. Iron is still on. Good, good, good. Press this down. I lined up the top and I didn't line up the bottom. Go figure. At least I did do the first part right. If you guys saw me with my accurate, quick piecing of all of my half square triangles. So I'm gonna put these together now. We're just going to finger press my seam right here. I have my knee lift attached, but I'm using the regular presser foot because I didn't even scoop myself all the way over. I'm so anxious to see what this number is going to come out. Okay, got myself a nice flat pinwheel. Make sure it's super duper flat. I have a feeling that my piece is going to be so big it's not going to fit on my little blue thing. We have 8 3/4. So let's do some math now. 8 3/4. 8 3/4 both ways. 8.75 divided by 3. 2.91. So that would be cutting at the 7, no, it would be right after 7/8. So I can get away with the 3-inch now. I'm still going to have hangover. No matter what I do, I'm still going to have hangover. That's so weird, right? Yeah, we're just going to do that. We're going to cut it at 2 7/8. Let's write that down. 2 7/8. We're going to see what happens at 2 7/8. I guess this is just going to be a bunch of randomness going on. Hoping that this is big enough for that. And this is off of a, what did I say this was? 8 3/4. And that 8 1/2 was 2 7 3/4. Okay. Well, this doesn't fit on here, but I'm going to use it anyway. We are doing 2 7/8. If you don't know what 7/8 is, it's the notch right before 3. 1 2 7/8. This better work. We're going to see right now. 2 7/8. We're going to cut 2 7/8 again, which is the notch right before the 3. And I'm not going to have these corners cut, but we'll fix that when I go to take everything off of here because it's not fitting on this little chop block thing very well. 2 7/8, the notch right before the 3, because these aren't fully 9-inch blocks. But this should work, hopefully. We're learning as we go on this one. Okay, so I need to cut away right here at that end because that didn't fit on my table. Just literally a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. Those are cut away, those are cut away. And these need just a little tiny, tiny, tiny cut. I don't even know why I bother closing the blade. All right, let's try this. Let me go back to the video now because I'm using a calculator at the same exact time, so I have to have, come on live chat. Going to try and get some more sleep. Girls are going to be getting me up in about 4 hours. Have a great night and a good day, everyone. Okay, Lynetta, good night. Next time, get well. All right, I think we're just saying good night. All right, let's do this. Let's lay these out now. Again, the layout, once you get your number correct, because we're now just playing around, This is the layout. You can have your print pieces on the inside right here, and then the solids on the outside, or your background color. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter where the pinwheel goes, and it doesn't matter if you put them in order like I did. I'm going to continue this in order thing because I actually like the way that looks. I think it looks super cute. So that's why I have left this up, because it's right here where you guys can see it. And you know the order. So we're going to do this again. I'm going to put this guy here. I'm going to put this guy there. There. We're going to put this one there. And there. 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 That way and that way. So this one is opposite. The other pieces are now smaller and the other ones are bigger. So either way, I'm going to still line up that bottom and I'm going to still line up the top. And this block is going to turn out bigger by at least 1/4 of an inch because it's 2 1/8 different. Remember, we had to trim away. So this one on the outer side is going to be what this one should have been, because this time we're putting the block together the other way. So again, I'm just going to stick all these right sides together. When I line to my other side, I always line up the top the closest to the middle, and then this top piece, the bottom, would be closest to the middle. Every time I've made a wrong size block or a block that never fit right, I line those up first because I know I'm trimming the block after the fact. So, and we should lose no points on any triangles after the fact when sewing it together, because I still have a 1/4 inch seam right here on these, which is good. So no matter what I'm doing, I'm still, even if I'm messing up and making 2 different blocks, 2 different sizes, and still trimming them down, I should still be good. And then that middle one, I just align that middle piece, but it's opposite this time. The other one is the smaller one. All right, so this time I just gonna center this in there, and it should fit in the seam allowances on both sides. Leaving that on, grab the next one. I'm lining up the top corner of this one. We're gonna press, finger press in. The reason why I do that for in, out is because there's a pinwheel in the middle, and I want the thickness of the pinwheel to go out. And you could probably even trim all these blocks down before even sewing. I don't really care, honestly. This is going towards the center. All right, so now I'm going to grab this piece. I'm going to put it on. Then I'll grab the next one and put it on. I'm aligning it down at the bottom, so I will have to trim the top half. That's okay. You can trim all these down to size if you want. That probably might be a smart thing to do. On the next block, I probably could just do that just to see how much difference it really makes. Because either way, I'm trimming it. All right, so we're gonna go out, or in, out, sorry. In, out, in, out. Now I'm going to line this up with the outer piece, so I still have a 1/4 inch seam, you know, and I still have nested seaming. I think the next one I'm going to trim them just to see. But I might just do this same exact size because it still is the correct size. All right. Oh, man. Oh. It knocked my seam off. So sad. Swap it this way, lay that on there, nest the seam, line up that outside. It still fits within the seam allowance with a 1/4 inch. Just the inner side is more like a scant 1/4 inch, and the outer side is a regular 1/4 inch, which is still good. The next ones I'm going to trim them all down just because. Might be a lot of extra work, but I could have just made a bunch of little tiny pinwheels and a bunch of churn dashes, which would have probably been more easier than this by using the 2.5 inch square method. So again, I'm still trimming away those outer pieces. Same as last time. Let's see how big this ended up. Seven and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. So this is 7 5/8 instead of 7.5. So it's literally 1/8 of an inch bigger than the last one, because that one's 7.5. So to me, that really doesn't matter. I'll put them all together just the same. I'm not even going to bother cutting anymore. I'm just going to trim everything the way I had it. So I can either take it and put it at, make the blocks without trimming them, and they come out at 8 3/4, and then do the three, you know, the cuts all the way around at 2 7/8, and I will get this. Isn't that just adorable? All that yellow. I need to bring this up close because of all that yellow. So I either get, what did I just say? An 8 3/4 inch block if you don't trim down to 4.5 inches, and you cut all the way around all 4 sides at 2 7/8, or you trim your blocks first and end up with an 8.5 inch block and you do 2 3/4. But I think that these should all just get trimmed to the correct size, so you're not trimming the outside. So it's still very, very cute. So I'm going to continue this. I mean, it's literally not very much bigger in total. It's an 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch bigger, you know? You see that? So that's it. It's an 1/8 on each side. So it's a 1/4 of an inch bigger. So there's 2 blocks. And obviously I'm going to screw the whole quilt up because I'm going to be adding a couple of these in, if that makes any sense. So, yeah. So there's 2 blocks done. So now, since I screwed this 3-inch pile up, let's put these together. We're going to trim them down to where, okay, well, that's not going to even be equal. Yeah, that's not even going to even be equal because it's stitches. So these are wasted. Unless I screw a bunch more pieces up and then put all those together into something. So, all right, let's make another one. Let's do blues. Do that one. We'll do this stripe, and we'll throw a different flower in there. Okay. So let's make a pin. Oh, let's get rid of the dog ears real quick because I don't want them there. And obviously, we're still going to stick around for a little while because I'm going to make one more now. And this time, in this part, we are going to actually trim all those squares to be equal and see, does it make a difference? Because it probably won't, but we'll just see anyway. All right, so let's lay a pinwheel out again. Out, 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 and out. Okay. I want these 2 colors opposite, like that. No, yep, yep. There we go. Yep, okay. So let's sew these together, and this time when I cut my 2 7/8 all the way around, I'm going to trim everything to 2 7/8. Or whatever the closest size that it actually turns out to be. So let's nest these seams. When it's turning off. And I'm not looking at the comments, and I'm very sorry for that, but now I'm determined. I'm very determined now, like super determined, to figure out where I went wrong on that and how how did I get the 9-inch block last time? I must have cut 6-inch squares. I don't think I used a churn pack when I wrote it down. All right. Dog ears off of there. They're just hanging there. These Jolly Rancher gummies. Girl that you give candy to. Even more hyper. Oh, did you guys just see me do that? Yep, that just happened. If I'm not going to use it, stop doing that. Slid my whole non-slip tray. Non-slip tray. Ugh. The back of the chair just got stuck on my knee lift. All day I've been sewing in here. And that's the first time that ever happened. I have one going that I having the same problem. My blocks come out 12.5 instead of 12.75. So now I have to figure out how to cut them in thirds. Just do what I did. Divide it and take that next closest number. Because when I divided that other thing, it was 8.9 something. The closest was 2 7/8. So just take the closest number to that. The next, you know, 8th up or 8th under. You know, the closest one. And my closest one just happened to be 2 7/8. So if it says 9.33333, you know what I mean? Then it would be 9 3/8. You get where I'm going here? Alright, so here's my block again. We're going to do this all over again. Except this time we're just going to cut it. Screw this. I'm not even going to do it this way. I'm just going to cut it and move my body around. Because I can cut left and right-handed. Alright. We're going to do this again. 2 7/8. 2 7/8. Be very careful if you cut under like this because of your arm. I've seen pictures of people who've cut their underside of their arm before. Oh, it was so scary. Also, I seen a picture of somebody who dropped their blade and they got so not lucky. It fell and landed on the top of their foot and slit the whole top of their foot open. They needed like 60 stitches the way it fell on their foot. It was a 60mm blade and it fell and it filleted her foot. Oh my goodness, it was so horrible. People post these pictures too in these quilters website groups. All right, one more cut. 2 7/8 is my number for these being just put together instead of all right, and then they're all going to be, oh, I'm going to have to use this again. They're all separated. So this middle piece needs to be taken down now to 2 7/8. So we're going to line up that. Let's move all these out of the way before I accidentally cut them. Because these are too big also. Okay. Let's see how big this is. And we're going to go off of that size. That should be 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. This should be 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. It is not. Now it is. So all these, I need to cut the yellow side off. And then I'll fix this pinwheel part. 2 7/8. 2 7/8. My boob is hitting the ruler every time. I'm just boobing it, guys. And one more time. 2 7/8. So this trimming thing, we're going to see if this whole trimming them all down to the correct size is going to work. Now let's trim this pinwheel. I'm going to flip it twice because I am not using a... Let's go to the diagonal side and see. I'm going to stand for this because I can see better this way. 2 7/8 right there. flip it this way. Now to 2 7/8 this way. 2 7/8, 2 7/8. Okay. So now we trimmed everything this time to a random odd number that we don't usually use unless we absolutely have to. We usually don't. We use quarters, halves, and 3/4. You know what I mean? Quarters and halves is the normal thing for quilting. So let's get all these little circumcised pieces out of the way. Again, if you're just joining, that's how my mom says it. Circumcising the ends instead of clipping the dog ears. Alright, so we're going to lay this out. This guy's going to go there. This guy's going to go there. This guy's going to go on this end. And this one on this end like that. Now we're going to put yellow. Oh, put yellow in, yellow in, yellow in, and yellow in. So now they're all the same exact size prior to sewing, so I shouldn't have to do any trimming. And again, I'm missing comments. Oh, they look like little cherries. What does that look like? Oh, that's a little strawberry. That's kind of cool. I'm filling my mouth with them. Well, you guys are talking amongst each other. Okay. I'm not missing anything, right? If you really, really need to get my attention, just type the little @ symbol and then capital T, Tiffany's with the apostrophe, and then space quilting, and then space life. All three of those words are capitalized. That'll highlight it in red on my screen, and then I can answer you right away. But now I'm determined to make sure I get this correct. Full mouth and all. So now I don't have to align anything differently because they're all the same size. We'll see how big this block comes out compared to the other 2 ways of accidents. Technically 3 ways, because so far I've done 3 different things, but the first one was absolutely incorrect. I can feel the tray vibrating. It came undone a little. All right. Press in. Press out. Press in. And then line these up. They should all be the same size now. There should be no trimming or anything that have to do with this. And one more. And I have gummies all up in my teeth. And I don't have back teeth on this side, on the top and the bottom, so it's like stuck in the groove that's back there. All right, so this center of this, the churn dash part of this one, the center of it, the part that goes around it, is shorter than those ones. Those ones are thicker. So hopefully this isn't gonna look too weird once they're all together, you know what I mean? All right, we're gonna nest these seams. Stop at one seam, make sure the next is nested. The only reason why I'm stopping is because it makes it easier to stop and line up than it does to just sew on through and hope that it lands there. You just line up as you go. And I didn't press it. If I would have pressed it, it probably would have laid a lot nicer. For you beginners out there, I'm hoping this video doesn't confuse the crap out of you, because let me tell you, I'm already confused myself. Let's press this and see how this one looks being trimmed down prior to the sewing. Okay, I'm going to come bring this up there so you guys can see the difference now, because this is a lot skinnier on the churn dash part. Actually, this one looks a lot cooler with the skinnierness of it. You guys see? So I'm going to pull a side by side. Here's another one so you can see side by side. Let's see if I can't hold these side by side better. Hold on. Let's make it easier by doing this. Can you tell the thinner one as opposed to the thicker one? You can see that the blue one is thinner. So it's only shy in total. See that this one is still shy. But those are the kind of blocks that I'll fudge into a quilt. It's not going to matter. I'll fudge that, like center it, and that way both sides fit in the seam allowance, because it's not really that horrible. So I'm going to continue making them the way I just did this blue one and the way I did the yellow-orange one. And then all the ones that I pre-cut into 4.5-inch strips, which would be these guys, I'm not going to continue making them this way, but I will finish the ones that are done, if that makes any sense. And then this wonderful block that needs to be fixed, by the time I'm done, I'll have 40 blocks, so that are not screwed up, hopefully. Which is an odd number because 42 is 6 across by 7 down. So I still need that last block. So I'll have to do something with those to make up for it, so that I can have that. Oh, are you telling me this is doing this again? Is it going? I'm making sure this screen is going. Hopefully it is. So, as you can see, this is its layout. You can swap them though, so you don't have to, you can have the backgrounds facing in. And I can probably do that with a couple and just screw with it. It's no big deal, because then my yellow will be touching these anyway. But when I put all these blocks together, my colors will be touching, unless I sash them, which I can do. You can do it however you want. You can just stick them all together or sash them. I really don't care. I'm just teaching you how to make the tiny pin dash or churn dash pinwheel or disappearing pinwheel, or like I said, there's so many names for this. I'm sorry for the beginning of this video how I just effed it all up, but obviously it's a learning experience for not only you guys but for me to write down better stuff before I start, or make sure I had it correct, because I should have used 6-inch squares. I'm pretty sure that's why I had that 9-inch thing. I didn't actually write how big my squares were on that paper, so I just had to go find it. So yeah, anyway, if you want, I can stick around and make one more block in a green colorway. Actually, that's what I'm going to do, because this is just too adorable not to show you the next colors. So like a greenish and blue mix. So those two and this one. A green blue mix. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. And I didn't chop the dog ears off of these yet either. Going to be 2 arrows with a pinwheel in the center. That sounds nifty. Oh, your layout. I knew that sounded nifty, because your layout is going to be different. Of the original disappearing it, the original cutting. You can lay it out different ways, yes. For those that are just joining or watching, the disappearing pinwheel does not have to be turned into a churn dash pinwheel or pin churn or churn pin or whatever you want to even call this thing. All right, we're going to do a aqua and green. I want these two across from each other. Oops. way. All right, so I'm gonna do this one now. This will be my last one. I frustrated myself, and now I'm like back to that I'm not frustrated anymore mode. That's the whole point of these videos. That's why I don't name them, because you got to watch them to watch me screw up and tell you guys all screwed up stuff before I fix it and tell you the correct. And not everybody's used to using these odd numbers that we're using with this 2 7/8, but that's what I'm using. They should all come out about that. So that's the part that should be correct. Alright, let's not turn my chair all the way so we don't move my thingamabobber. Lots of steam. Ooh, that one was like the perfect pinwheel. Look at that. Never that accurate. Whew. My pins perfectly point. Pinning perfect points. PPP. All right. 2 7/8 and a drink of water before I start cutting. Since my valley fever is worsening, I want to tell you guys this. I've been hawking up a lot of phlegm, like a lot of phlegm. Like, you know, when you have pneumonia, if you've ever had it, or like a sinus infection that drains in the back of your throat and you're constantly hawking it up. That's what I have, except I don't have no sinus infection. I can breathe nice and clear, so there's nothing sinusy going on, but I have like this buildup that keeps coming up from my lungs, and it's absolutely horrid. And when I spit it out, it's like, people always say smokers, oh, it's smoker's cough, blah, blah, blah. When a smoker coughs up, it's just yellow phlegm. It's anything like that. Now, if you're a really, really heavy smoker, I'm assuming it probably would be different colors, but mine right now, because I have a severe lung infection in now both lungs, I'm hacking up like this brownish, almost blacky tinted hockaloogie. It's pretty disgusting, and it absolutely tastes like rotten. I don't know, it's just rotten. So I have to spit it out. The doctor said do not swallow it, because the valley fever, if it's mixed in any of that that's built up and I'm hawking out before my lungs get cut open and removed, if I swallow it, it's going to end up in my stomach, and the acid won't be able to break it down in my body. So I have to spit it out every time. And yeah, it's not very nice. It's kind of annoying too, because it's happening randomly all the time. I just randomly be doing something in my room, and I'm like, and it comes up, and then I go spit it out in the bathroom, and then lay back down, and like 20 minutes later, it happens again. Oh, that's not 2 7/8. Oh yeah, that is 2 7/8. I'm using the ruler backwards so that I can left-hand cut in a good position. 2 7/8, 2 7/8. So yeah, that's what I've been dealing with, besides migraine that won't go away. Kind of getting used to it, but I'm kind of not used to it. Okay, these are the ones I trimmed down. And I trim down this. These should be 2 7/8 equally. Let's trim all these down. I'm going to switch to this little square ruler. 2 7/8 is right there. This thing has millimeters on it, so it's very, very confusing. I'm cutting from the yellow side, so my little thingies are going to be, but I switch around and cut the other side, so the yellows will be big and the other ones will be small as I'm doing this, because I've already messed this quilt up, so I might as well just keep screwing it up purposely. And one more. I have a feeling that one that I just cut a second ago was not 2 7/8 because this ruler is confusing me. Nope. I did it 2 3/4. Okay. You know why? Come on. 2 7/8, 2 7/8, right there and right there. I'm not used to these Omnigrid rulers yet because they're gridded, and it's very confusing to me because I've been using these with the dashes instead of the millimeters and marks. They're like confusing or something. I don't think those are millimeters. Why did I say millimeters? Those are eighths. No, they are millimeters. These little ones in between. Excuse me. All right, I'm gonna lay this out while you chit chat. Oh, that one's just ever so slightly sticking out right there. We'll get rid of that. Okay, that's on this side. I wonder what it would look like opposite. Let's see, just looking at it real quick. I am not sewing it together this way because I like the other way better, but this might actually look like really cool. And that's inward. Oh, that's not 2 7/8 right there either. Yes, that is a millimeter. Whoa, that is what's confusing the Jesus out of me. All right, and then this would be inward. No, I want it on this side. Inward, 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 inward. I don't like it this way. I really don't. You can't see the middle pinwheel. It gets lost in this weird, like, music note looking thing. I wish you guys can see. I'm waiting for the screen to catch up. Just glad you're using those rulers and liking them. They're which one? These ones, Kim? The ones that you sent me? Yeah, obviously. I'm loving them. This Omnigrid, though, that I got the 3. I got 3 different size Omnigrids. I'm really totally not used to these, but I do use square rulers a lot. Honestly, after using these and then using Missouri Star rulers and then using my Fiskars rulers first, just out of preference for rulers, especially for a beginner, once you get used to using Fiskars as a beginner, if you don't know that quilting is for you yet, I highly suggest using Fiskars rulers because they are at Walmart, they are at Joann's, they are at Hobby Lobby, and they are inexpensive rulers. When you start going into the Omnigrids and stuff, then they're a little bit more expensive. If you don't like quilting, then you're just throwing away inexpensive stuff or donating it to someone who quilts, you know what I mean? If you do like it, then you can upgrade. But if you've waited so many years of reading the same exact ruler, I've been reading Fiskars rulers for almost 5 years now. Using a new ruler is definitely a different experience. When this, I gotta pick it up so I can show you. When I got this as a gift, this Quilter's Select ruler, I went from using the long 24 by 6 inch by 24 inch Fiskars rulers to using this now. I absolutely love this ruler. This one is easy to read like the Fiskars ruler. The only thing that the Fiskars has different is has the highlighted white around every line. This one does not. The white actually helps when lining up black fabric, as opposed to this one, black fabric on the black line. I never get it correct. Like, it is always literally just a pinch. Like, seriously, the pinchiest pinch. It's a piece of salt or a piece of pepper difference, which really doesn't add up to much. But in the long run, this ruler is amazing, this Quilter's Select, because they have this non-slick on them. and you just put it on there, and you don't even have to hold the ruler with any pressure. You just put your hand on it to make sure. I don't even know what you're making sure once this is on the fabric. This is so good on the fabric that it pulls the fabric. But the Missouri Star ones are, to me, there's only one thing: green fabrics, yellow fabrics, a couple orange ones now, and those colors you cannot use under this color. You lose it on that line and you can't see the line. Blacks, reds, blue, all that you can see really, really well. That's the one thing about these, but these are easy to read just like the Fiskars. They're pretty much exactly the same, except they're a different color so that you know they are Missouri Star rulers. Other than that, these and Fiskars, they meet the same ruler standards for reading. And then the Omnigrid is definitely, you need to be really, really good at, you need good sight because these little itty bitty markings are highly confusing. I mean, I'm starting to grab it more so that I can get used to it, but highly, highly, highly different. And then I do have like creative, not creative, Cozy Quilts rulers. These are easy to use. The lines are a little thick on this for the stitching line, so it's hard to know whether you want to line it on the line, above the line, or directly below the line, because I've had inaccurate cuts sometimes because of knowing that, because these are pretty thick dashes. But that's the only thing about these, other than this is an amazing ruler. You can use it for so many things other than strip tube ruler uses. It has the trim up uses and so on and so forth. And then trying to think of other brands. I have other brands of rulers in my thingy, and I've tried some with friends' houses, Creative Grids, and then a couple other ones. And when it comes to using the mat, today CJ wanted to know. He said these rulers all look different, and that's because he didn't realize that the lines are thicker and you line up towards the middle of the line. He looks at this and these lines are thinner on these cutting mats. I have Olfa cutting mats also. These are my Fiskars in the house. My Olfa is outside. That one has so many, because I trim quilts when they're done being long-armed out there, that it has indentations that are so deep into the mat that it's ruined. It's not washable. The cool thing I like about the Fiskars mats is once that starts happening, if it happens within a year, you keep your receipts to these. If it happens within a year, all you have to do is send Fiskars an email or give them a phone call, because they have an 800 number, and they will replace it as long as you show proof of your receipt. But it has to be before that year is up, and you will get a whole new one for free. They will replace it, and they don't make you send in the old one. That's only if you show pictures of the gouges that it's making. And they always ask you first, are you changing your rotary blades? Are you changing this? Are you cutting at this angle? Are you using your tools correctly? So as soon as you fill out the little questionnaire, yes, 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 and yes, take some pictures and show it to them, you get a new one. The one I have outside, the Olfa one, they don't do that. They don't offer that kind of guarantee that their product isn't going to get worse. The second thing about the Fiskars compared to the Olfa mat for cutting mat purposes, because those are the only two cutting mats I've had, so there's only two differences. The Fiskars are thin, so they're more flush with the desk. My Olfa out there is like a 1/4 inch thick. It's very, very thick. So that's the other difference between the cutting mats. But the lines on the cutting mats on the Fiskars are to the T. From a measuring tape, from a regular measuring tape like this. We have tons of different brands of these. Me and CJ had to look today. He spent a lot of the day in here with me, keeping me company. And yeah, all the lines and numbers are exact. The same as any non-Fiskars product. If you lay it on here and you put it within the lines, it's exact 4.5 inches. If I held it properly, that's exactly 4.5 inches. So the lines are accurate. They're not printed on here wrong. So that's a good thing. But when it comes to rulers, I can say, and Kim, I do appreciate these. Honestly, they're like I said, they're the same as Fiskars. I do prefer my Fiskars rulers, but this is working great because I do a lot of layer cakes and stuff, and the color of it makes it easier to find when I lay it down. Plus about the Missouri Star rulers is the color, but Fiskars ones are lighter and the outer color is starting to fade on them because they're a different color on the outer edge, you know. Let's just grab one so you can see. Hoping that it was on top, but it wasn't. So on my Fiskars, they have this, but this is fading. That's the other thing that I don't like about this ruler brand Fiskars. There's a couple things I don't like: the fading and the chipping. But it's not just Fiskars rulers that chip. OmniGrids chip, and the Missouri Stars chip. So, I mean, and they're sharp when they chip. So be careful of that. Just be careful, you know. It happens. They're not going to be perfect forever, but the lines start to fade. All your start lines. And that's with any ruler. These came from somebody, so some of the lines are faded. And then obviously I just got these, but it's got scratch marks all over it. You can tell I use my rulers quite often. So yeah, I prefer Fiskars for reading purposes because the lines are so simple to read. So simple. Other than that, the OmniGrips are good, but or OmniGrid, not grip. OmniGrip is the name of the OmniGrid brand that sticks, because that's what it says right here, OmniGrip. There's OmniGrip, OmniGrid. Grid has the grids, the grips has the grips. Anyways, yeah. So I'm just barely getting used to that. All right, so these are all ready for me to sew. No, they're not, because I turned them all out. All right, let's put this together now. And sorry if I missed anything. I probably did. Okay, so Kim said she was glad I'm using the rulers. That was weird. What was weird? Did she melt again? Did I melt? Is something wrong? She almost melted again. I got that picture. I'll show you one of my videos. LOL. Hello, everyone. Hi, Sandy. She melted. Oh my, I saw it too. What? Jim, it happened in the last 2 lives. Hi, Sandy. Hey, quilting. I don't know what's going on with this talk and text, but it ain't doing good today. It's okay. Kim prefers her Fiskar cutting mats. Yeah, I love the Fiskar cutting mat. I don't know why. It's just so much easier to, even though it has the dots, if it was a straighter line, it would kind of be a little bit better, just like dashes instead of the dots, but I still find it really easy to read. And the one that I have out in the garage, the OmniGrid one, or not OmniGrid, Olfa, I got all these next to me and I'm talking it all. The Olfa one that I have out in the garage, one side of it has no markings. It just has a couple dashes, like for every inch, but it has no quarters, halves, eighths. It has none of that. It's just a grid. The other side has the markings, but it's like I said, it's so gouged in now, you can't even read them. You have to use a ruler. But then I do use the crap out of it, let me tell ya. Yep, I definitely use it because it's my long arm trimming mat out there. That's what I turned it into when it started gouging in here. You guys should remember, it was on my table in my older videos because I swapped mats a few times just to see the difference, and yeah, I didn't like it, so I put it out in the garage again, where it's been for about, I don't know, 4 years. And I've only replaced one mat, that my smaller 18 by 24 inch Fiskars mat is the only one I called in to replace. Only one. And that was because when I got it, the original one, which is down under there, it had a bow to it, like from the store. I didn't know anything about it when I first bought it. A bow, like the way it was sitting on the shelf in the store, and that bow would not go away. And I kept messaging. I messaged them and told them it's still not going. They told me a warm bath and wash it, and then that didn't happen. They said lay it out in the sun. Nothing changed. So I went through quite a few different of their little things before finally they finally just sent me one because they were tired of me playing around with every single possible way that it could have got stuck that way. But it was stuck bowed. It was weird. But my next one that they sent me was flat as can be. Came in a box. A crunched box at that because it went through the post office. And it was still nice. That was 4 years ago though. Well, more than 4 years ago because I've been almost quilting for 5. Alright, let's put this last block together instead of me babbling on about nonsense. Not really nonsense, it's actually good information for beginners. Like I said, if you're not knowing that you love the craft, I would definitely buy the cheaper products to start. You know, just like fabric at Walmart, use the cheaper fabric at I'm not saying it's cheaper because it, to me, is just as equal as any other fabric. I don't care what anyone says. I don't see a difference. Their white is as see-through as Moda or Kona or anything, or yeah, they're all the same. Everything that I've ever gotten is the same as other fabrics that I've gotten, and I don't see a difference. Besides that, there's a little bit of a texture difference in some fabrics. There's some that are even thinner. Some of the good, really good brands are thinner. And I think I did not trim down this triangle right here because it is kind of on the big side. Well, now we know that we need to cut the block a certain way, and I'll go over the instructions before I get off. Alright, and the iron turned itself off because I went on my ruler tyrant. And I'm going to trim this before I even press because that green is a little on the big side. Come on, are you kidding me? Cut the seam, cut the seam. I dulled my blade using it today. I did a lot of work today. Oh look, now it's equal. It's just that side. That was weird. Anyway, okay, let's go over directions real quick because these last couple have been the same now. So, this littler one that I did in the red, which was the first, well, technically the first block is this. Do not cut them at 3 inches like I said in the beginning, unless your block is a 9-inch block. I don't know why my block didn't come out at 9 inches, and I probably should have been paying attention better to the size before I cut the 3 inches because it came out wrong. And when I put these together, I'm just going to screw with them so that it at least makes something that similarly goes with this, and I don't know what I'll do with it. Just put some scraps around it or something and make it look half-assed decent, but I'll figure it out. And excuse my language, sorry. Nighttime is the time I usually forget that I shouldn't be cussing on camera. Then we realized that the blocks that are 4.5 that we trimmed to 4.5 inches with the strip tube ruler, just because that's what I use instead of other trim up rulers. There's no need for any other ruler when you got one that does the same thing. The 4.5 trims come up, they equal a block that turns out 8.5 inches. If your block is 8.5 inches, cut it at 2.75. That's 2 3/4 all the way around. Make sure all of your little squares are 2 3/4. Afterwards, when you get to this part, make sure all those squares are 2 3/4, and then we will be laying it out like this. If you want a screenshot, or I don't really care because you guys have saw that like 500 times now, and it's been sitting here this whole entire time. The next block, after we had decided that this was small, because this finishes at, the little red one finishes at 7.5. Let me write that 7.5 on here. That way I can remember. Okay. So this one finishes at 7.5 if I cut it like that. Then these next couple of them, and and the one that I'm going to press right now so that you can see the green and aqua version. That way you at least got to see a lot of the fabrics that are in this line. All right, let me bring this up to you. The green and aqua color is this. So these next three that I had made were from me just putting the blocks together without trimming my half square triangles down to anything. I just leave them right after sewing as they were, chop them in half, sew them together, and I got an 8 3/4 inch block. Then, because it was 8 3/4, the magic number was totally different. So we went up we went up just slightly in size because it came out at 2.9 something. It's on my calculator. It came out at 2.9 something. Anyway, I went to the next eighth, which is closest to that number. So it's 2 7/8. So that's the notch right before that 3-inch line. 2 7/8. Make sure all of your little squares, this square, these dashed squares, the part that makes the dash to the churn, these ones need to be trimmed 2 7/8. You need to make sure, because these are going to be just slightly bigger than your half square triangles, and then your pinwheel will need to be trimmed as well if you don't want to have to trim the outside and align everything like I showed you. It's probably easier once you make those cuts to just trim the pieces. Again, if you were to do this with a 9-inch block, so much easier. So you take 6-inch blocks, sew them on the diagonal, and then cut them, but then you can't use a charm pack, you know what I mean? I wanted to use a charm pack, and I don't know what I was thinking. I should have dug through my stuff more because I have it written down somewhere. And I don't think I used these numbers either. These numbers are way off. I must have trimmed to like 4 inches or something like that, so I had an equal number. Once it was trimmed, all these were trimmed, we sew them together, and these bigger ones come out at 7.5, which I should write down right here. And then, yeah, so I trimmed them all and then put them together. And I trimmed, as you can see, how the yellow is smaller. The yellow is smaller on this one because I trimmed from the yellow side, okay? So again, my yellow is smaller because I trimmed from the yellow side, but I'm still going to trim the opposites. So that way, like, I'll get rid of this side some on some of them. So that way I have an equal amount of skinny yellows and thick yellows when I go to finish this up. And I'm not going to really care that my one boo-boo block in the beginning is not the same size, because it's literally going to fit in the seam allowance, and I can fudge it when I go to put these together. So, and I know you can see kind of right here. Actually, let's make it easy and lay these on here, because I have a design board. All right, let's lay these like this, and then I'm going to come show you what they look like when you put them all together. I'm not going to come show you, I'm just going to hold them up. That's what they look like together. I don't know who's leaving. I saw something the horror, what? So I think these look really cool together. You don't have to put them together like this. You can add sashing or whatever you... I got the hiccups again. It's one thing I hate about this whole valley fever. I get the hiccups consistently. I'm holding my breath even while talking. That was very hard to do. I should not have hiccups anymore though. I do the hold the breath thing for like 30 seconds if I can, or at least try. And then I swallow 3 times during that whole period so I can get rid of the hiccups. And then sometimes I turn my head upside down like that over the bed, but my head hurts. I do it over the bed though. That's not even half of what I do. Hanging over the bed to get rid of my hiccups too. And then I swallow water upside down. And that gets rid of hiccups too. Or pickle juice. A teaspoon of pickle juice helps too. Let's see. I missed something. Okay, good night, Tony. You're probably gone by now. Good night, Sarah. Probably gone by now. Good night. Good night to all that are leaving. Hi, Mary. All right, so did I cover all the bases now for making this? I'm sorry that I messed up in the beginning. I'm going to trim all these down and put them together anyway and somehow work all this in. Or I can lay them differently as a 9 patch. Kind of curious now that I'm sitting here what I can do with them. I can actually just spin that around and sew that like that. Hold on, I have an idea here real quick while I'm right here. Let's make that face pinwheel like and that face opposite. Let's make this right here and that opposite. Let's make this that way and that opposite. So I'll put this together and I'll have one oddball block. I'm just gonna leave it like this, but pickle juice is good for leg cramps too. Really? Because that doesn't get rid of mine, and I get hiccups and drink pickle juice. So yes, it's going to be a neat quilt. It's just going to be very on the fly messy because some of these, it's a good thing I didn't cut too many reds, and I can actually mix these for, if I use a scant 1/4 inch on any piece that I use these with, I might get lucky because I really didn't cut much off of them, you know, when I trimmed them down. So love pickles, can't do the juice. Really, Jim? I don't really drink the pickle juice drink. I use teaspoons at a time. Well, it's not like a teaspoon, it's the little circle cup kind of teaspoon that I have. That way it's not falling off the spoon because that's what it used to do all the time. Anyway, I'm going to sew this together like this while I'm here. Does anybody have any questions while I sew this together real quick? Because I'm totally in the mood to get off of here, but I do want to put this together, and this will be my oddball block, and let's see if anybody notices in the quilt when it's put together, if you remember that I did this on purpose to make an oddball block. Because this is also a disappearing pinwheel, no matter what I do. No matter which way I lay them out, it's still the pinwheel disappearing. Alright, so we're going to go in, out, in. I could probably throw a couple of these in too, just because they're all messed up anyway. It's not like I was doing anything right tonight. But at least we had fun hanging out, right? You guys got to watch me really rack my brain because I never rack my brain during this stuff. I just do it and it turns out right. But I don't know what happened to me tonight. Like I said, I probably should have made it first to make sure. That way I had a different number to give you. But I still made it, and you still know what to do now. Alright, still on, good. So here's my other disappearing pinwheel as soon as this is done and I press it, and I'll show you guys real quick. And then we can get off of here. So I'll say goodnight now, because this will be done in just a second. For those that want to say goodnight to each other, we're going to finish it, press it, and be off of here for the night. block. It's got a little bit of a crookedness to it right here. All right, here it comes. Show you. Here is my random block. It still looks pretty cool, and if you hook a bunch of these together, it'll probably look really awesome. So there that is. So while I'm here, bye everyone. Good night. I can see the comments on the screen, so I'm just seeing that you guys all said good night. Good nighty night.